Anxiety and resilience. So resilience is one of the key things that your brain has lost through exposure, through experiencing a long period of chronic stress or chronic anxiety, maybe physiological stress, sleeping poorly, overworking. Yet resilience is one of the most important factors, one of the most important qualities, values that you need for your success in your life, but is completely depleted over a period of time when people experience chronic anxiety and chronic stress. So let's look at that for a moment. So anxiety and stress, the way in which it affects us is by sensitizing our brain. So if you imagine that you experience a small amount of stress, then that small amount of stress sensitizes you, so it's more easy for triggers in the environment to stimulate more stress. So this is the challenge. This is the challenge with people who are chronically stressed day in, day out, is that small things stimulate them, trigger their stress, which triggers more stress, and it goes round and round and round in that loop. And then they get completely overwhelmed, to the point where they just perceive that there's nothing I can do. I'm just continuously triggered by stress in that way. So this is where resilience comes into play. So many people I speak to have had anxiety for a long period of time, tend to manage their anxiety, which doesn't work, and tend to move their anxiety from dormant to active. So maybe their anxiety is activated, and then they do some things, or they take time for themselves and move it back to dormant. But the key part is that they're still incredibly sensitized, so it's very easy for their brain to move from dormant to active almost instantly, and high on the anxiety scale, so maybe move from a 2 to an 8, almost instantly like that. So resilience, what part does resilience play? So resilience is your brain's ability to stay on track. So it's your brain's ability to continuously feel good in yourself, and your brain's ability to be able to be a defense towards these triggers, a defense towards these things around you. So you could say it's the opposite to sensitization. So when you feel great in yourself, when you feel awesome in yourself, and when you have strong resilience, it may take an entire month of stress before you experience any anxiety at all in your life. As we all know, the more anxiety we experience, the more our resilience slowly gets broken down to the point we have no resilience, and even a small trigger of stress in the environment, mental, emotional trigger, then instantaneously our anxiety comes back. And this is the conflict, isn't it? This is the conflict that people find it hard to recover from. So my clients, when we work through their anxiety, the key part happens, is because we don't work on management, we focus on recovery. So as their anxiety reduces, we're continuously building up resilience on the other side. So we're continuously building up resilience to the point where when they first come to see me, naturally anything, well in general, 24 hours a day, their anxiety is going off all the while. So they don't even have patches or points where they are free of their anxiety. It's something that's going off continuously, hyper red alert all the while. On a various levels. Some people it's incredibly high to the point where they can't sleep at all, to the point where they can't think clearly, can't run their business, they've got brain fog, they're so overwhelmed that they're just shutting themselves away. Some people it's lower down and they're moving in that direction. But within that there's a scale of people, but they've all got generalized anxiety, with anxieties going off all day long, 24 hours a day. So the next stage is we're reducing the amount of anxiety they're experiencing, the level of the anxiety, and they're beginning to get some patches where they feel good again. And this is the point that tricks a lot of people, thinking, now I'm healed, now I'm fine, now I can move forward with my life. But that's not really the case. Because at this point, they're still incredibly sensitized to anxiety, and any small trigger will immediately bring their anxiety back and put them back in that state. So that's the key point. So they begin to have patches where they don't feel anxious. And then the next point is they begin to have long periods of time without the anxiety. And it's during these stages where your resilience is beginning to build back up. And as your resilience begins to build back up, what you'll find is you're less sensitized to stress. So stresses before that immediately, instantaneously brought back your anxiety, whether it's the thought of something you've got to do at work, whether that's the experience of something in the work, whether that's someone saying something critical or annoying or disrespectful towards you. Whether that's you overworking yourself and at a certain point you always experience anxiety, whether that's after you've slept poorly in the morning, you always experience anxiety, whether it's accumulation of triggers in that type of way. So as your resilience builds, instead of one of these triggers instantly setting off your anxiety, what you'll find it might take 5 or 10 or a compounding effect of those things. Yeah, so the goal is, with any person, is to build their resilience up to the point where it's fucking ridiculously strong again. Yep, so it's incredibly strong, and not only that, but the person continues in this direction. So the goal is never to recover from anxiety, not learn anything from it, and then just go back to how things were before, which then slowly brings us back all the way around full circle to anxiety at some point in the future. The goal is to conquer your anxiety, build up your resilience, and then not rest on it, not take advantage of the fact that it might take you a month of stress to feel similar feelings, or 6 months, or even a year, when your resilience is really strong, to experience the same painful feelings that you did before. When that resilience is strong, then raise your standard in your life. So if you're living day to day with a low standard in terms of how you think you should feel, how stressed you think you should feel, how anxious you think you should feel, how good you think you should feel in yourself, yep, and you've normalized that low standard, then as these things come back and as you start to improve, the goal is to raise your standard higher and higher and higher and higher. You know, why not feel epic all day in your life? Why not feel great all day in your life? Why not feel phenomenal all day in your life, where resilience is so strong that nothing shakes you out of that mood at all? You know, even your kids annoying you all day long, which can be a bit of a difficult one to challenge, can't it? Yep, during the summer holidays. But whatever it is, your resilience is so strong, yep, that you simply do not get triggered by those things in terms of your anxiety coming back. So when someone's at the worst point, anything triggers their anxiety, literally almost anything. Yeah, because their brain's constantly looking out into the world thinking, where's the danger, where's the danger, where's the danger, searching for it. That could be a danger, boom, stimulates stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol flows into your brain, your body, your mind, your emotions, and it immediately takes someone over in that type of way. Whereas as resilience increases, the beautiful thing about that is that also on the flip side, yeah, because they're both directly in proportion to each other, a recovery increases. So on the worst side of the scale, when we experience anxiety and stress, even small triggers, we're really overstimulated, really oversensitized by them, really strong anxiety comes back, and it takes us a long period of time to get back to equanimity and to feel good in ourselves once more. When our resilience is high, not only if we lean on our resilience and experience stress, and stress comes into our life, but our recovery is fucking high as well. So we really quickly recover and get back on track. So those two pillars make succeeding in life, make having a great relationship, make doing everything that you want to infinitely easier than it ever can be without them. You know, people who wear themselves down over weeks, months, and years to the point where their resilience is almost not there and their recovery is, you know, non-existent, they're totally fucked. Nothing is going to work in life. Nothing is going to work. Everything is going to be difficult. Everything's going to be grind. Everything's going to be force. Everything's going to be struggle. Everything's going to be drama. Everything's going to be so difficult. Yeah, and nothing is going to be enjoyable along the way. Whereas when these two features are back in your life, yeah, then everything flows forward in a much more empowering state, and you get the best out of yourself in a way that truly is right for yourself. So remember, guys, that anxiety recovery is truly only the beginning.